Alright. Well, welcome back to Tyranny, but right now I think right now it's talky talk time. I mean, everyone has something to say. So we'll start with verse.
So, the Scarlet Chorus and Disfavored are at each other's throats. Can't say I didn't see that coming, but the Archons might have waited until one war was over before they started another.
Do you think I made the right decision? No. Their war doesn't interest me.
Funny sentiment, considering you're in the center of it. Not that I'm judging. I'll say this much. Our time together is anything but dull. My blades are yours for as long as you'll have me.
Oh, and I'll have you.
What do you need?
So... I wonder.
If you insist. What? Until then, I plan.
Let's see. Second I heard enough.
The Scarlet Chorus.
Let's see. Tell me about this. Part of the voices. We already know about that. Fifth Eye is dead, so we don't care about him. Back to that. Tell me about the gang bosses. See if I have like something about you know, loyalty and stuff. Alright.
What do you need to know?
Thoughts? No. The hell was that? I think a bird just hit my window.
What did you have in mind?
Any particular reason?
What? Did you have something in mind? It isn't that I'm not flattered, Fatebinder. I just don't think I'm your type. I don't have a gang anymore, and I wouldn't throw in my lot with any of the killers floating around the Scarlet Chorus ranks. The fact of the matter is you're doing important work, even if you stumble and flail along the way.
Ha!
If that puts me at odds with my Scarlet Chorus ties, so be it. I'm not such a camp follower that I don't look after my interests first. And I find you... interesting.
Oh?
You've satisfied your curiosity, so let me satisfy mine. Why are you keeping a little scrap of a thing like me around?
Well, it's true I have feelings for you, but now that you mention it, I don't consider us fans. Gain fear, apparently. I have feelings for you. We could go a little tappy tap love.
Is that so? I won't pretend that the idea hasn't crossed my mind. Well, something more interesting than feelings in any case. A girl needs to release her tension somehow.
You realize we have people here, and the Iron Marshal.
But we're in the middle of a war, and more often than not sleeping an arm's length from some anthill or bane-haunted ruins. We'll probably be too blood-crazy by the end of this to even think about that sort of thing. So put it out of your mind for now.
No! Back to previous.
Go ahead, Fatebinder.
Apparently have...
The thought has crossed my mind from time to time. During the many battles of the Conquest, we found ourselves standing back to back with enemies on all sides on more than one occasion.
The big guy here is as useless as an empty scabbard without his phalanx to keep him alive, but I move fast enough to compensate for it. And it's nice having a living wall of rusted iron I can use for cover.
Ha!
I would suggest that our fighting styles complement each other, but they do not. I would suggest that we get along, but we do not. We don't even finish each other's
sentences? Okay, that was strange. Did you hear that? The next time I catch a whiff of Barrick's meaning, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I want you two to train together.
Absolutely not. Our fighting styles are incompatible, and any disfavored lieutenant will tell you not to join at the hip soldiers who can't stomach each other.
But... what can I say? Opposites attract.
I'm inclined to agree. If you want to pair up fighters, there has to be some great passion or magnetism between them. We don't have it.
Bluff. If it is up to the challenge I want, then I won't fast the matter.
Now see here, Versus temperament and unpredictable ways are an annoyance. but no challenge is beyond my skill. Verse, we should take some time to face off in the sparring fields. It might even improve our disposition towards one another.
I'd rather watch you devour your armor one shaved-off spoonful at a time. But since that isn't going to happen anytime soon, I suppose I'll make an effort.
Yeah. Oh look, they have an ability. So what can you do? One per rest. Fire several arrows into Barrick's armor. When the last arrow strikes or roars and the arrow... What kind of monster are you? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, continue talking to Verse.
At your service, Fatebinder. What do you need?
Parent connection with Barrick.
You've just got to know, don't you? I suppose there's no point in hiding it. Barrick and I are siblings. And we share a father, if little else.
Huh.
I try not to think too much about some northern merchant dropping anchor in my mother's port, but it happened. And the fortunate result stands proudly before you.
Proudly.
There were a lot of lazy days during the conquest, and among other things, I spent my off hours using messenger birds as target practice. You should have seen Ash's anger when he heard that was going on. One day, I snagged a bird that flew from the hands of a proud northern daddy. The missive was about the goings-on at the family farm. I recognized the name and handwriting from a note in my mother's belongings. There weren't too many people named Barrick in the army, so tracking him down was no challenge. I cornered him in camp, and we shared a few heated words. Some blackmail, even.
Ha!
She tried to extort rings from me, and I was having none of it. Not even Graven Ash would think less of me for our father's indiscretion.
I like your confidence, but my ring belt is feeling a little light these days. Maybe you want to take me up on that offer, or I can start whispering in disfavored ears. Think about it.
Ha!
I've tried to get along with that ironclad knot of repression, but it would seem he's having none of it. Good riddance, then. The war's tossed us together, but nothing says we have to keep that going. The most we do for each other is try not to get the other one killed, which is more than you can say for most disfavored in Scarlet Chorus.
Well, Verse has a nasty habit of jabbering in my ear and making this war intolerable. I plan on parting ways and returning to the north at first convenience. My father will answer for his infidelity. Beyond that, I am happy to consider myself in every way unaffected. My superiors once accused me of having an impulsive streak, but I have worked to suppress it at every turn.
When you go back home, send Father my fondest greetings and thanks. If he hadn't gone to ground on my mother's dry dock, I might not be here today.
Tuh.
My heritage was a point of pride and distinction before I met you, Verse. Not that you would care.
I've asked myself about that several times, but unfortunately I don't have what you'd call a definitive answer. The Northerners put a lot of meaning behind family and blood. Seems arbitrary to me, but I don't want to discredit it entirely. I told you about what happened to my Scarlet Fury sisters. The hesitation I experienced. Sometimes I wonder if that wasn't because of my connection to Barrick. He's stubborn, regimented, everything I'm not. I suppose there's no telling for sure, but if I had to guess... Yeah. Sometimes I get messed up in my head, and learning I had a brother has helped me understand that better.
Alright.
What do you need?
Well, I guess that's that. Well, we talked to Verse, but now let's have Barrick for condensation.
And so, civil war divides the armies of mighty Kairos. The reckoning that comes of this failure will be great indeed. We find ourselves in the darkest times. Brothers and sisters who fought for a similar cause now skewer each other over blighted lands in the favor of distant powers.
What have you done?
Backing the disfavored was the only logical choice. Graven Ash is the only Archon worthy of your confidence, and you were wise to recognize as much. Naturally, I would have done the same. Whatever others might say about what happened in Vendrian's Well, you acted from instinct. I can't help but respect that.
Oh.
What can I do for you?
So,
The thought has crossed my mind.
The big guy here is as useless as an empty scabbard without his phalanx to keep him up. If you want to attach some arcane meaning to the whole thing, be my guest. I couldn't tell you for sure. I doubt that a capable tactician could explain why certain soldiers learn to rely on each other.
In the disfavored ranks, the Oathbound seem to know more about synchronizing their efforts, and the same could be argued for the Scarlet Furies. I don't know how they pair up their units, but it isn't by virtue of blood.
Alright, enough of that. So, save that. We got Ebe. We got the Iron Marshal. Alright. Landrian! Let's talk to you.
At least in theory, I'm supposed to be observing history and not getting myself wrapped into it. All the same, this is the thrill of a lifetime. Rarely does one stand so close to monumental moments in the making. If given the choice between a multifaceted hive mind of treachery and a surly old soldier, General Grumps is the wiser choice. It's patently obvious which Archon is truly loyal to Kairos.
Yeah.
So, I must ask, are you planning on taking sides in the Civil War? Or do you have other plans?
I will ally with the disfavor, but I am a servant of the Archon of Justice. That much hasn't changed.
Dutifully spoken. It is Tunon's duty to arbitrate matters between the Archons, so this rift between Ash and Nerat certainly falls under his jurisdiction. And here you are, thrust in the middle of the dispute. No doubt the mighty adjudicator will be relying heavily on you to get to the truth of the matter.
Yes.
Whatever you do next, consider that many eyes will be upon you, for you have both delivered and taken away the Overlord's edicts, and few will know how to make sense of the latter. You are an exception the Archons cannot afford to ignore. They will likely aim to control or destroy you. Most of Kairos' edicts were either worded to end in a manner of the Overlord's choosing, or the edicts have simply continued in perpetuity. That's not to say there haven't been stories of broken edicts. They're just uncommon. The oldest is, I think, Golbraith and the Edict of Sorrows. And that tale dates back to around the year 110. Aside from you, the most recent was the Edict of Twisting Grasses, back in 380. In all these stories, Kairos' edict very clearly gives its victim a single way to escape, and someone manages it. What's never happened is the pure abatement of an edict, like using a spell of warding or cancellation.
Noted. But first, I don't think, hold on.
My Lord Binder, what can I do for you?
Let's see, something else?
It is a symbol of Kairos' will.
No. Let's see. I could gain fear. Dun dun dun. Apparently I could do this. So why not? Gain fear in all of them. Well, I thought it'd disappear, but never mind. Alright. Back to my questions. Minion concerns. Younger realms. Apparently I haven't. Oh, hey. Alright, well, I skipped all that, but enough of that. Well, it looks like I gained some stuff. Alright, now let's...
One moment, my friend. Just let me finish this thought.
Oh, loyalty to you. Oh, let's discuss current matters. I have some questions.
Nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge.
Okay, well... What's your story? Someday, someone have... I was born right after the independence from. So yeah. On second day, I don't care much. Like again, his loyalty from that. No. Let's continue. Signed. A lot of text here, so I guess I'll make the recording of just the dialogue in here, so I will go into action later. Ah, I guess I should have said loyalty. Fear. What else, Arch? Oh, okay. Well, thank you for telling me. So, you're invoking. Yes and no. Alright, let's speak about something else. You mentioned birds. How do you feel about Kairos?
I am nothing if not a semi-reliable, and I'd be happy to oblige. Ever since the fall of the Vellum Citadel, it is hard to find someone with whom I can discuss such thing.
Hmm. Huh. Okay, I'm curious about a specific edict. Any thoughts of the edict of execution? Is that what I used? Stone, fire, storms. Blake. Oh yeah, I was there. Alright.
Edicts are the strongest manifestation of magic we know, and they seem to violate all other lesser phenomena. No dispel cantrip has ever dented or abated an edict. Even archons with powers of great durability cannot shrug off their effects. Just look at Cairn. Now, what I find curious, edicts can flex a little. Or so my studies suggest this is the case. Take the Edict of Storms. While the day it was proclaimed was the most violent, the actual radius of the storm has changed over time. But most will have none of my hypotheses on this matter. So, in my studies, some edicts resolve some problem of the overlords and then vanish into history. But the edicts that linger around, almost all of them begin to widen. Their effects become more intense.
Really?
Here's the intriguing part. The older the edict, and the more that's written about it, the more the reports of that edict get more dire over time.
Hmm.
Something to that effect, at least. I contend that edicts are powered by fear. Fear of Kairos helps fuel the casting, and fear of the edict feeds the magic, sustaining it, and, if enough people fear it, even growing it a bit.
Hmm.
I thought just that. But wherever an edict is cast or has been cast, the land will always hum with a little background noise, if your ears trained to listen. If anything, it seems edicts add more magic into the world, not the other way around.
Alright, I'm back. I just had a phone. Yep, a lot of Texas. Or Texas. Texts. So, might as well get through all of it.
Intellectual honesty demands that I study the matter more. If I'm correct, the more people fear and obsess over an edict, the stronger it becomes. Anyway, another study for another time. And I'd be happy to oblige.
Hmm. Huh. Lesser mages. Yes. No. Archon. Alright, talk about something
And
else.
I'd be happy to oblige. I've forgotten more than most bloodchanters have ever learned. What do you want to know?
Can you teach me anything?
I think you know all I can teach you.
Sigils, prevention, concealment, and healing. Sounds boring. uh... Alright. Talk about
And
something
I'd be
else.
happy to oblige. Familiar is a relative term. I think I know more than most, but it's a subject of mystery, even to the scholars. Though, I must admit, in addition to my reading, I've ventured into the old walls on occasion. And soiled many undergarments in the process.
Ha! Bane. I think we're gonna fight the Bane. Dead mages, the nightmares of Archons come to life.
And I'd be happy to oblige.
Spires. Five of them are in the tiers. Hmm. Ha!
And I'd be happy to oblige.
Current matters.
Of course. How can I help? All kinds of things. My mind is old. Memory's a sieve. Keeping track of you, noting what I hear of the war, scribbling down reminders to myself, that sort of thing.
Is this safe?
Oh, certainly not. But it depends on the ink I'm using. Too much cerulean and I can't sleep. But just the right amount, and I can write all night. The red ink will give you swamp bottom if you drink it, but absorbed through the skin, it'll make you taste colors and smell music. Speaking of which, I should change out my tip.
What?
I use 3 kinds: sepia, cerulean, and a red that's never the same shade. My recipe needs work. I like having 3 colors, but they also provide different states of mind for writing.
What kind of ink is this?
Well, yes. If I'm worth my weight in tin as a craftsman of record, future generations will know of you. So yes, the Archon of Posterity sent me. You seem troubled by something that ought to be an honor.
No.
I can't in good conscience poison you.
I can't then hand it over. I'll poison myself. I can't in good conscience poison you. Considering a lesson. I want to go with that. Then hand them over. I'll poison myself.
Oh, fine. The things I do to educate the youth. Here's how it works. The Reds give you a brief bout of synesthesia, great for writing music. Cerulean can unhinge me a bit, but it blocks out the cramps and anxiety. My sepia ink is perfect for quiet contemplation. Also insomnia.
Ha 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 ha. Music. Zappa, I can stay awake. What's saturating like?
Feel anything?
Just random dots. Like a double-edged sword. Oh god. Did you know that legally speaking my word? I'm the law. I'll go back to being a hunter. Hunter.
On second thought, I shouldn't be poisoning your young mind. That should wear off in just a moment.
Second. That was interesting. That was really interesting. Keep talking to him.
One moment, my friend.
Alright.
Of course. How can I help? All kinds of things. I can't in good conscience poison you.
Consider it a lesson.
Oh, fine.
Alright, try out the sepia ink.
Made from only the finest cuttlefish.
Ew.
What do you think?
Drool quietly. Look off into the distance.
I'd say it's working. Sit and enjoy that for a bit. It'll wear off soon.
Sit.
One moment, my...
Alright, current matters.
How can I help? All kinds of things. I can't in good conscience. Oh, fine.
Alright, let's try out the red ink now. The taste is quite unwarm. Huh. Fingers. Fingers itch. Wow, this is all. Okay.
All kinds of things.
Anyway.
My mind is so... Do you have something to hide? Do you want your actions forgotten? Either way, if I actually survive following you and make a cogent text out of this ramble of notes, well, if that happens, and you hate it, you can torch the pages.
Keep writing. History will want to know me.
On that, we agree. Don't worry, history needn't know the exact body count of your saga.
Yes they do. Yes they do. So.
Of course. How can I help?
Know anything about the region?
The spires predate us all. As far as I know, we're the only ones who've been up here since... ever? I think this might be a first. Perhaps the real Trailblazer had trouble getting down and was lost to history. Of course. How can I help? The spires predate... of course.
Well, it doesn't erase out.
Are you asking for an objective assessment? I am nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge. What did you want to discuss?
Allies and enemies.
Well, you might want to ask a more soldierly type about the armies.
Oh god, look at all this.
Ash has served with Kairos for a mere century, but he has been a reliable general and level-headed warlord. Certainly when compared to some of the more bloodthirsty Archons to serve under Kairos. I'm not saying the disfavored are merciful. I'm just saying I've read the stories of the Archon of Blood and know it could be worse.
Huh.
I know Graven Ash can defend his soldiers from far away. Ash's Aegis is the term us Arcanophiles have taken to calling it. Not surprisingly, Graven Ash is beloved by his troops. I mean, if Tunon could mystically protect you from cudgels and sharp sticks from leagues away, you'd like him more.
His time will come. He is fair and just. But can I make you fear me? Oh, okay, good. Sorry.
Not the youngest Archon in history, but certainly one of the younger, and history has yet to write much about her. And if I happen to be the first to write about her, well, that will look nice for my legacy.
Talk about something else.
I am nothing if not... You mean what's left of them? What would you like to know? The sages are archivists, academicians, and arcanists. Our mission is to preserve the knowledge of today for the good of tomorrow. Though we are known for our magic, few realize that most sages concern themselves with scribal work. Only a select few have the talent or focus to work the sigils. Each sage benefited from the scrolls of learning that came before him, and so each sage must repay this boon by gathering, authoring, or translating new texts to the stacks. But all that's a bit generous. It's no secret that the sages were far more happy to add knowledge than to share it. Why, indeed. As historians, it is our place to document, not direct. Let others rage and resist. Ours is the duty to record. The decision to defy Kairos was not unanimous, nor one decided upon lightly. The laws of Kairos would forbid much of the knowledge contained in the Vellum Citadel. The elder sages feared, rightly perhaps, that the Overlord would put an end to our tradition of stockpiling knowledge. The Battle of the Vellum Citadel was a battle to preserve knowledge, but our actions will be remembered as treason against the will of Kairos. The sages trace their days to a generation after 5 Wives, when the first settlers moved west. The Vellum Citadel began as a scholastic retreat, slowly blossoming into the finest library in the continent across the generations. The centuries fly by, and suddenly, the Vellum Citadel is the definitive archive in the Tiers. The sages branched out into carrying missives for wealthy clients, training noble children to read. The peasants may have feared us, but we remained useful enough to the kings and queens of the Tiers to avoid war. When Kairos came for the Tiers, that's when our hubris came back to haunt us. The Elder Sages, the other Elder Sages, not I, believed our spellcraft was enough to ward off any siege. Well, we know how that turned out. Traditionally, we use magic only so that we may observe and archive. So that means magic of concealment and protection. But, in truth, we have amassed a great wealth of knowledge. Before the Vellum Citadel fell, any given subject of magic had at least one sage practicing it.
So you're admitting you had at least one agent of yours studying the magic of the Tidecasters?
Oh, she's angry.
Well, I mean, if such information had fallen into our hands generations ago, we'd be fools not to...
Not to suckle off that ill-gotten teat of knowledge? Filthy word whores of the worst degree. The Edict of Fire wasn't half of what you deserved.
Jesus. Sure, coming back to you. Let's see, gain, lose minor loyalty.
Well, it's not like I personally stole from your school, and nor did I get to study the Tidecaster scrolls. Not for lack of trying, I'll admit.
Just stop. The less you talk, the less you'll suffer when I finally kill you.
Jesus.
I am nothing if not
So,
a semi-reliable I know everything, except for who's been saying that. What's on your mind?
Bane. Oh God.
I know everything.
Alright,
except
that's something about history.
I'm flattered you think me that wise, but unless you are enthralled by migration observations and titillated by triangle ratios, I think I'd bore you silly.
Oh, hey, lore! But what better tangent than triangles?
Fine, fine. If you have truly nothing better to do than talk trivia with old Lantry, so be it. A Brief History of the Tiers by Sage Lantry. Volume 1, Settlers from the East. Dry land! Came the cry from the prow of the ship. After months in the deep ocean, the pioneers of the Tiers saw their promised land at long last.
This sounds familiar. Fascinating. Listen politely. Walk away.
Volume 3, years 90 to 94. If you thought 88 was a crazy time when everything changed, wait until 91.
Haunting memories of Toonsen's lectures creep into your mind.
Well, if you enjoyed that, you're going to love Ratios of the Sun. So, by using the shadow of a staff at noon as a starting point, I used triangles to show a relation.
Unlike Tooten, lecture cannot kill you for walking out of a lecture. And unlike Tooten, lecture has to eventually sleep. You experienced worse. Wow! Damn!
Ah, I knew someone would ask that. And yes, so here's my proof. Sage Winding Script shows a relationship between all half-square triangles. I have a diagram somewhere.
From time to time, the wind picks up. So if that's correct, you could estimate almost any length from a known angle.
Yes. Way to steal the concluding reveal from me. But yeah, that's about the gist of it.
Smart guy!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I think my voice needs rest. Thank you for the rousing conversation.
Nope, I still need to talk to you because this needs to happen now. And I enjoy my companions, so.
One moment, my friend.
Alright, let's.
I am nothing. I know everything.
Bane. Let's see, Wisps? Oh, great. Scorches. Havocs. Huh. Menaces.
I know My knowledge is largely academic, not to be mistaken for practical. The earliest settlers made note of the Beastmen, so they were here before us, but not before the older realms. By all accounts, the tribes do not have record of a time before the Old Walls. So, the logical conclusion is that they arrived after the Old Realms, but before Five Wives. There have been thousands of tribes throughout history. Most dissolve within a Acquireman's lifespan. The stronger females branch off and make their own tribes with tougher names. Then the King of Azure rounds you up and puts you to work. The Stonestalkers are the most powerful of remaining tribes, thriving now that Azure has fallen. As for the rest, the old Talons of Frozen Cloud, the Trollhooks, the Kolakar, the Katvanas, the Jawsnap, all gone, I think. And then there's the Shadowhunters. They're all but extinct.
I'm surprised I'm not putting in my hunter dialogue.
They are true to their names and live like beasts. Clothing and artifice seem to have little value to them, whereas rutting and killing are the reason they wake in the morning. But it would be a mistake to think them stupid. Ask any tamer and they'll tell you some stories of their cunning. The beasts are wanting in patience and diplomacy, but they are a clever bunch. You'd want to ask the authority, Sage Quillborn. She lived with the Kolakar for a few span back in 404. Some truly fascinating findings. She noted that every successful tribe has a singular female leader. It's Prima.
Prima! Great.
She noted that beastmen show fluid loyalty to new matrons. They adapt well to changing leaders, but they never change the relatively simple but strict hierarchical model. Few beastmen have accepted fealty to Kairos. It would seem the notion of bowing to a person you have not seen in the flesh is insanity. This inability to bow to the Overlord will no doubt doom the species, for Kairos does not suffer such token insults. I know everything, except for...
Alright, well,
Of course. How can I help?
that's it. So, where does the loyalty lie with you? So, Scarlet Chorus, I don't even have the Wrath. But I had this favored. I definitely have the Wrath. So, Landry. Oh, I have their, I have that. So, Barrack. Oh, almost their fear. Spiral of Twisted Rock. Oh, I want that. First, I will get your fear. And Ebe, you're more loyalty than fear. And what is this one? Heart of the Storm. Oh yeah, that's nice. Well, Ebe, you're the last one. Ugh, that's like... It says here 40 minutes.
Salutations, Fatebinder. Or should I now call you Lady of Vendrian's Well? The Spire Queen? Princess of the suggestive vertical slab?
Glare silently. Fatebinder. Shura, say my name.
So if I might ask, what is your plan now? The edict no longer looms overhead, and Kairos' conquest of the Tears seems to be slipping. What with the armies in civil war.
Well, first the plan is to destroy the chorus.
Then you have my full support. The Scarlet Chorus has grown in the years of conquest. Among the Horde are Tearsmen fighting because they felt there was no choice, as well as Tearsmen fighting to watch their homeland burn. It pains me we will have to slay some of the former.
And first of all, I should speak to Twinton.
I would counsel you to do just that. I'm sure the events of Vendrian's Well are best explained from your mouth to Tunon's ears. Furthermore, I'd guess the Archon of Justice would want to know your take on the Archons and their divide.
And I'm improvising.
My first suggestion would be to build a boat. Something durable, and take our chances on the high seas far from Kairos. I have a second and more practical suggestion. Look to the horizon and slightly up. By that I mean the other spires. We should see what's atop the others. Otherwise someone else might look first.
What do you know about spires?
Not nearly enough, apparently. To me, they've always been axioms of navigation. You can triangulate a lot of things with the sextant and a clear view to a spire or two. We've long known the spires radiate strong magical fields, and all save the mountain spire connect to the old walls. So it's the sort of thing common folk know from afar, but avoid day to day.
Plus, I must complete this conquest.
I see. I'm sure there's little I can do to persuade you otherwise. Just consider that the people of the Tiers will someday bow to Kairos. Why not have them bow to you instead? Well, short of Tunon giving you orders on pain of death, you have the luxury of acting on your own volition, though the Scarlet Chorus are likely to come for you. Whatever you decide, I'm at your disposal.
Okay. Trying to Dipolus. No. Your assistance will be most helpful. Thanks.
And I am thankful to not be a bloody pile of offal in Vendrian's Well. Life under your banner will, I'm sure, prove most interesting.
Yeah, kneel before me.
What is it you need?
The matters at hand.
Oh, we're working with the disfavored. You want my advice? My advice would be to get close to Graven Ash and plunge a poisoned shiv in his ear.
And how exactly do you think?
Well, if you're working with Graven Ash, give it your all. Offer to help the Archon of War with whatever he needs. The stronger the Legion, the weaker the Chorus. And if you get close enough to him, well, with enough trust, you could get very close to the Archon of War. I'm not saying it's a quick plan, but I think if you stay close in his confidence, the moment to strike will reveal itself in time. Now we're working with the disfavored. You want my advice? My advice would be to get close to
Claire.
Right, I'm speaking out of line. But I don't really know what to say here. I hate the disfavored, but I'm sworn to your cause, so my honest opinion won't do anyone any good. Now we're working with the disfavored.
Well...
You want my advice?
I will never understand why deceit is the first instinct of all Tiersmen. You are right to take offense.
Right. I'm speaking out of line.
Oh.
But I don't really know what to say
All right.
here. Ask away.
Speak about magic.
You know, I normally charge for this, but for you...
She smiles.
Now, you know that's a very personal question. The knowledge I have is a centuries-old gift from the Archon of Tides. I would sooner discard my life than the sanctity of that gift. I will speak in generalities only.
So... Not that I'm bitter. Still bitter. Water, ice. I have yet to see you use ice, I don't think. Can you teach me what you know? I command you! Looks like I got loyalty. What's... Alright, what's it worth to you? Well, forget I asked. So... Philosophical teachings? Dodging death. Huh. Well, I have to remember for her to teach me something. Mimic the moon's pull on the seas. Huh. I'm guessing... Alright, lore. Huh. Fixed in the sky? Huh. It's a floating island? Alright. And...
You know, I normally charge for this.
That is to say, huh? What can you tell me about Bane? Old walls. Huh. Change the subject. Tell me about yourself. Your name. Alright. What I really wanted to be was a Marine. The burly bitch at the prow of the tournament. Huh. Alright. Good times. Were good times. Oh. Tell me about your family. 3 kids, siblings I didn't hate. Hmm. They were twins. Huh. What became of the twins? Gate judgment again. What became of your youngest? Oh! Very sorry for your loss. Change the subject. The husband. What did you like about him? He's a keeper. If he makes you walk funny, he's a keeper. Alright. Not sure.
Well, I'm an accomplished liar, but I've no need to spin a tale about any of this. My husband, most of my kids, my parents. Kairos' thugs took them all. If I don't seem broken up, it's because I'm not. I don't feel such things anymore.
You sound your magic with a great deal of anger. Oh.
I like to think of it more as well-refined rage. But amusing you noticed it all the same. Hate is akin to an acid, a poison of the heart that consumes most from within. And like any fluid, if you know how to hold it, you can apply it. It's a trick of the trade, I suppose. One's surges and dry spells of emotion are no different than the rhythms of the waves. There's a shared logic to taming both. Sadness, mania, rage. I suppose I have these things, but they're just humors in the blood to be pushed, needed, and restrained as the situation demands.
Change the subject. Well then. Loyalty is low.
Ask away. We all know how to swim, and we all know how to fight. Most Northmen are lucky to make half that boast. What would you like to know?
I'm just skimming through this now. Huh. Oh, this is stubborn. Are you trying to rub in yin? Yes. Nice. Mimical steak. Change the subject.
We all know how to swim, and we all know how to fight. Aside from the ones you slew, well, the Vendrian Guard were the most staunch opponents of Kairos. With their passing, the Overlord's rule is absolute. Well, aside from the local Archons being in a state of civil war. Was there a particular group you wish to discuss?
The groups.
The Unbroken is the name of the military of the now fallen realm of Stalwart.
Okay.
A decade ago, Stalwart was the ass end of jokes Tearsmen would tell each other. The Unbroken
Alright.
still persist, albeit marginally so.
Stone Stalker?
Kairos' war was disastrous to the human realm of Azure, but a stroke of good luck for the numerous beastmen. The Stonestalkers are a tribe born from these newly freed beasts. I imagine they would never. Beastmen understand strength and leadership.
Bronze Brotherhood.
But it's always. The Bronze Brotherhood is one of the most feared and famous of the Free City mercenary companies.
Mercenary camps. Alright, don't
Most of
care.
the Brotherhood perished. The band is too small to be a serious threat to the disfavored or the chorus. But they are scourge-worshipping
I see.
berserks that will. Several sages came to our aid during the Second Battle of Vendrian's Well. I at first thought they meant to kill me. They spoke of others in their guild braving the Edict of Fire to salvage lore from the burning library.
Huh.
Historically speaking, an alliance with the School of Ink and Quill is just asking to have your efforts
Sure.
stolen and your goals undermined. Mark my words, some things never change.
We are fools not to use them.
Well, perhaps we can shove them in front of the enemy. And the ones that volunteered at Vendrian's Well weren't all bad.
Alright. Younger Realms. Bastard Tier. Bastard City. I hope we go there. Sounds like a lovely place. Alright, change the subject. Change
Ask
it.
away.
In the
Not
tiers.
entirely sure.
Well, we already know about this. This. Alright. Enough? Oh. Okay, well, in that case. Change the subject.
Ask away. I know a great deal of the mages of the tiers, or at least their history.
See. Earthshakers. Disciples of Corn. Blood Chanters. What did they do anyway? Archon of Fire. Oh. Forge Bound. Oh yeah, they're that. Behind the oh. School of Flowering Winter? Huh.
Ask away. What is it you need?
Alright, I guess that's it. And well, we got that. So, Landria, well, Barrack, Verse, I will get you to fear me. But anyway, that is it. I had talked to all of them and it's been almost an hour. Well, we finally got that out of the way, so when we come back, we don't have to, you know, talk to them over time and stop me from fighting. So, and if there's anything else I'm missing, I'll do it on my own, I guess. But when we come back, we'll actually do something with our Marshal, as she's been standing here for an hour now. So, have a good day, everyone.